Hi, I'm Simon and this is my wife Kim. We're here to answer your questions about liveaboard life. This is part 2 of our questions and answers. Click here or down here or wherever it is to see part 1.
So let's get right back into answering your questions. In part 1 we answered a question about what we purchased on the boat that we wish we hadn't. And in this part we're going to start off with answering what we have on board that we couldn't live without.
A good autopilot system.
My Dyson vacuum.
My man cave with all my tools and mission critical spares.
My stovetop coffee maker.
My water maker.
Our huge freezer. This goes from here all the way down to the floor.
My iPad, which I use for my primary chart plotter, and also where I get my weather forecasting from.
Our washing machine.
My shop vac.
My soda stream maker.
And the tanks to clean the bottom of the boat. So those are the things we can't live without on Britican. Okay, let's answer some more questions for you now.
It says, do you get a discount from your insurance if Britican is not in the hurricane zone?
Insurance and hurricanes, normally you pay a set premium for your boat for the year, and if you have a named stormed clause in it, you generally pay, well, for us it would be 50% more to have the hurricane clause in it.
Next question we have from John Carr. Hi John.
Hi John.
Regarding your post on high insurance during hurricane season, would it be much more reasonable if you were on the hard in Grenada during hurricane season? It's a good question. If we were to pay the extra premium for hurricane insurance, then yes, you have options. You can stay on the boat, like you could be sailing during a hurricane, which don't suggest anybody tries. If you're at anchor, they will not cover you. No. If you're in a marina, they will not cover you. But for our particular insurance, they will cover you if you're in a one-piece cradle, and I think perhaps the boom needs to come off.
Yeah, the boom needs to
come off. Not the mast, but the boom.
Yeah, and there's certain other criteria, and we're not going to bore you with it. Next question.
Yeah. Do you need licensing for your dinghy because it's over 9.9 horsepower?
No, we don't.
The one thing we have noticed recently is in Grenada, the Coast Guard has gotten a little bit picky about having a light on your dinghy at nighttime. Yeah. So I think depending where you are, it's always good to have a light anyway at nighttime.
Most definitely.
Do you need a certain permit to drive a boat as big as Britican? Great question.
No, we don't in England. The only license you need is a radio license. Because we're British flagged, they don't need anything. When we were going in, I think we were looking at going into Croatia, we needed a certain license.
Yeah, in France. Which we did get, and it was just kind of a paperwork.
Yeah, because we'd already taken the courses, and they were transferable.
We've got a couple of great questions here from Ash Wesh. I hope I say your name right.
Hi Ash.
Hi Ash. You're interested in understanding about power, 240 volts versus 110, and then we've got frequency, which is 50 versus 60.
Yes.
And the different islands and what they offer. I mean, this is it's crazy that there's not a universal electricity.
No,
but
we are a 220 50 hertz boat, and that's European power and British power. When we go to the States, we can get 220 power coming in, but we get 60 hertz. Now, it's okay as long as we're not running anything that has a motor in it, like a washing machine, the air conditioning, the microwave.
But everything else runs.
Everything else.
Like you're okay with other stuff like charging the computers, everything else. Yeah. It's just the motor is the problem.
Yeah. Some of the really big marinas have designated docks for American boats and for European boats.
St. Lucia is one that's coming off the top of my head.
Yeah. That was one I was thinking about.
Yeah. So it depends where you want to go. Now, we looked into getting a some kind of transformer or converter. Yeah. And to buy it off the shelf, it was just astronomical. It was like, we're talking like $15,000-$20,000. You can apparently make one yourself or find an electrician make it for you, but In the end, we thought, well, we'll live with it. So what happens is if we go into a marina, we still plug in, but we make sure not to use anything with a motor. And when we do need to use the motor, so let's say I want to do some laundry, I will turn off shore power, I will put the generator on, and I will just use the generator for that task.
Yep, that's what we do.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
No,
it hasn't been, it hasn't been that bad.
No.
How common is it for sailboat owners to have installed auto-ranging battery chargers that can take any input voltage frequency?
Don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that answer.
Yeah, I have no clue.
No clue, sorry.
If somebody does have a clue,
let us know.
See, this is why we need comments on YouTube.
I know.
Okay, so if somebody does have a clue,
email us.
Well, I'll put a link. I always put our videos on our website, so at the bottom of our website you can add a comment. So if somebody wants to answer that question, it'd be awesome. We've got quite a few questions here from Christopher Ware. Hey, Christopher.
Hi.
So let me just go through these. How do you handle propane tank refills, and are the fittings different?
Don't know that one either, really, because we're all electric. But I have heard that it's a big pain for a lot of cruisers. Yeah. European is different from American. American is different from the French. The French is different from the people in the Pacific. When you are filling up, there is certain places that can fill up 3 or 4 different connectors, or there's one place that just, no, I only do one connector and that's it. Some boaters, I believe, buy 2 sorts of propane tanks. Yeah. It is a pain, but
you just have to research where you're going and see what it is and make sure you have it before you go. Or you could be like us and be all electric, and then you just don't have to worry about that at all.
just have to have a big generator to run it.
Yeah. Do you do pump outs out of your head tanks, and is it easy to find places to do that? That's a great question. It depends where in the world you are.
When we were in the States, we got pumped out once a week.
Yep.
In Turkey, it's by law you have to be pumped out. Caribbean, we've had, I think, been in one marina where they did a pump out.
I don't think I've ever seen a pump out.
Yeah, there was one, but we were only there for a night, so it didn't matter.
The regulation is you need to be, I think, 12 miles off of land to empty your head tanks. Is that what it is?
Maybe. I think it's 3 miles.
3 miles?
Maybe.
I thought it was 12 miles.
Okay, maybe 12 miles. Yeah.
You'll go to like a lot of Caribbean islands and you're going to see where the cruisers all are. And some bays have hundreds of cruisers and they don't move all season. No. Sometimes they're just there permanently, like all year round.
Yeah.
And there's no pump up boat, nope. So you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. We still swim in it.
Yeah, and when you do get into the Caribbean, and then the Med too, nobody talks about pump out.
It's a shh question.
Okay, so this is a great question. Getting access to internet. How hard do you have to go ashore? What do you do for PC security if at a bar or restaurant hotspot? It changes a lot. For the most part, for each country you go to, you need to get a SIM card for that country, and then you have to buy whatever the deal is. Now, even though there's Digicel in the Caribbean through every single Caribbean country on the French islands and the other islands, it's a different entity. So in some cases you're paying, $100 for 2 gigs. In some cases you're paying $30 for unlimited. There's no rhyme or reason to it, even though you're dealing with the same company.
Same major company.
Yeah, so that's if you have like a phone or a hotspot on your boat and you put a SIM card in. Now, throughout the whole entire Caribbean, you can pretty much get cell coverage, which is amazing. Yes. There's only a few spots, like long passages, where you lose coverage. Mm-hmm. So you can have the internet on your boat, which then takes away the worry of going onto the hotspot or, at a bar and having, security issues. We have 3 things. We have our UK phone, and I can pay £4 a day to get halfway decent internet connection pretty much anywhere we are. The only issue with that is I can't hotspot it, and it's not very good. We also have a T-Mobile contract, and that is about $100 per month, and that gives us cell coverage, it's nonstop. But it's slow. And we can pay $5 extra to make it fast.
Unlimited, they say.
It's unlimited, but then you get a text that says you have 500 megabytes to use.
Yeah.
And then, so we have the UK phone, we have the American phone, and then we have another phone where we put country SIM cards in. So, and then we do whatever the deal is there. It's difficult. Yeah. And in some places they don't have unlimited, and you buy 6 gigs and it's gone in 2 days. So I don't know how they're measuring it, and every cruiser we talk to has the same problems.
Yeah.
So internet is a big issue. Now when you go to bars and stuff and you're on hotspots, there is software you can get to, encrypt things and protect your computer. We don't have any software. We've never had an issue.
No. It's a pain.
Yeah, so we pay about $300 a month at the very minimum to have internet connection. And at best, it's okay.
Welcome to cruising life.
Yeah. Only in one country on one package can I upload a video. So all the videos you see, we are sitting at bars uploading them, sometimes taking 2 or 3 days to get up. That's why we have drinking problems.
Yeah.
And Christopher has one more question. He asks, how often are you cleaning your hull with the new bottom paint, the copper coat? Okay, so yeah, how often are you cleaning the hull?
A lot. We had it taken out in Antigua, sanded. It's a lot better than it was. I must admit that. But I'm still getting tiny little barnacles on there. So I'm down, I don't know, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks.
And before a passage too, because we go much faster. Yeah, don't buy copper coat. We've got some big questions from Dave Porter here. So I'm going to read off the first one.
Okay.
I assume that many people who take up the cruising lifestyle have previously had careers or forms of community engagement that provide their lives with a sense of meaning and purpose and contribution to society. I'm very drawn by the idea of life on boat, but I sometimes wonder how well-meaning, purpose-driven, socially committed people manage to satisfy these kinds of needs on board. Now that is an excellent question. And there's couple questions in there. There's a social element from going from your social life on land to a social, life on board. There's also, I think, and I'm not sure if you're asking this, but there's going from having a career and having that kind of, I don't know if it's a creative spark or whatever it is that your career was made of. You're productive. I think that's the best way to say it. You're productive, and when you go from being productive in a career to sitting on a boat, does that work? Does that translate? Is there a transition? First of all, the social side.
Wow. if you think you were social on land, you're going to be 10 times more social. You're going to be 10 times more social on a boat. People come up and we make friends and suddenly, oh, come on my boat, we'll have sundowners on here. But the social aspect is massive. We have Sienna, 9 years old. Her social life is as good, if not better, than it would be if she was back at school.
There's always a neighbor that's next to you that you can meet. There's almost always a cruiser's net in the bay that you're in. And there's social activities, there's dominoes, there's yoga, there's dance nights, there's barbecues, there's beach barbecues, there's
film nights, all sorts. It's fantastic. You can be as social as you want to be.
Yeah. In fact, we have to try real hard to say, okay, tonight we're going to stay in. We almost never stay in. So our social life compared to land and compared to now, I mean, it's incredible. And we're meeting lots of different people. We've got a good group of people that we've known for a long time, and there's always new. So it's refreshing. It's fantastic.
Yep.
So from the social element, I don't think anybody has anything to worry about as long as you're okay to go introduce yourself to people or partake in the activities. Mm-hmm. When it comes to transitioning from career life to boat life, now that's a different question. A lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah, it all depends on your personality and what you want to do. I found it fairly easy to go from there.
You went from being a gym teacher to...
Yeah, I'm a gym teacher to being a manager in managing a boat. I found it.
You've actually become much more stressed, and not in a bad way.
I know. I was in one of the. I was a gym teacher in a maximum security prison where I was getting death threats most days, and I was actually less stressed at that job than I am at this job because the boats break.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, why is it breaking? And
well, we had no clue how to fix anything, so that's kind of stressful.
Yeah. Now I don't. If it breaks now, I just go, oh, okay, it's broke. Let's fix it. So.
Yeah.
Am I less stressed now?
Yeah, you're not as stressed as you were the first few years.
So my tick's gone.
Yeah. I definitely I've struggled. I think I'm okay now.
Yeah, I think you are.
But I had, I came from quite a fast-paced, the corporate world where you had to be productive. You put in 80 hours a week and, just working all the time. I found it extremely difficult. And I still, I had the blog and still did writing and thought, well, we've got to figure out ways to make money. So I was very stressed. And I've met a lot of other cruisers. A lot of people that cruise are ex-business owners.
Yeah.
Either that or they're ex-pilots. Those are like the two big ones. And they say, it's difficult because you're going from more of a mind work environment to more of a hands-on environment. There's a plane going over. So you're using a different skill set. And a lot of people, go from being very comfortable with their environment to an environment where there's so many unknowns.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a difficult thing, and you have to think about how you want to transition, and whether or not you want to keep something going, maybe that keeps the mind that you were using in your business world. Maybe you could still do a little consultancy or a little something that kind of brings that familiarity to you while you're on the boat.
Yeah, a lot of people do that, don't they?
Yeah. And some people just flat out are so happy to get out of their careers, they never ever want to think about it again.
Yeah.
And they're very, they transition very well.
Yeah, man.
So, good questions. Okay, next question. I'm curious about the overall carbon footprint that comes with a sailing lifestyle compared to land-based. What fraction of your total power needs, electric and propulsion, are you able to meet using just wind and sun in the course of a typical month? Or put differently, how much diesel do you typically use in a 1 month period? Great question.
Ooh, okay. Well, we've just, within the last year, got a big solar panel, 3 solar panels put on the back of the boat. And we found that has changed our life quite considerably. We are not using the generator. I would like to say we're using it 2/3 less. We probably are around about there. We had to run the diesel generator twice a day to top up our batteries and do all other stuff. Now we're only doing it once, maybe every other day. We started using the generator, so we have gone down to say from about 100 litres a month to about 45 litres a month, I would say. And then it all depends on how much travelling we're doing and how much we have to use the main engine to get somewhere. We try and not go anywhere unless we can sail, so we just start the engine, get the sails up, switch it off, and then when we're coming into an anchorage we switch the engine back on, but that doesn't always work.
And I think when you're talking about carbon footprint, if you haven't purchased a boat yet, I think it's one of the most highest priorities to look at, aside from making sure the boat is a good solid boat, you like it and it's safe. But the energy systems on board, I mean, we could spend a whole video talking about that. It's great when you're using the sun or the wind or water.
Yeah.
It feels fantastic, and the more we can do that, the better. There's new technology coming out that's gonna make things even more possible. Our boat has a lot of high energy consumption things. We've got a washing machine, we've got air conditioner, we've got water maker, an electric oven. I think we're doing pretty good though. Now that we have the solar, we only put the generator on for the washing machine. We don't run the air conditioner ever anyway. Yeah. And then as far as like water's concerned, we get when we take a shower, we turn it on, we lather up, turn the turn it on, turn it off, turn it back on, and that's it. So we use a very small amount of water, and it's water we are making from the sea.
But also, when we are using the generator, we're cooking, we're doing the washing, and we're making water. So it's not as though we put it on 3 times to do the 3 different things. We do it all together.
Yeah, I'll cook. Even if it's in the morning, I might make dinner in the morning because I'm running the water maker washing machine, and
as you did today.
Yeah. So David's been receiving lots of information, marketing materials from International Living, which publishes reports on international retirement destinations popular in the U.S. and Europe. And these reports talk about how a couple can, get by comfortably in Costa Rica, say for $2,000 a month, or various cities in Spain. Reading them has got me wondering about price comparisons with living on board a sailboat year-round. After purchasing and fitting out a boat, how much would you say a couple in their 50s or 60s need to have available and guaranteed monthly income to live a reliably comfortable cruising lifestyle of the kind depicted on cruising blogs, including food, fuel, and healthcare needs? I mean, that is a great question. And we've talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
It depends what you think is comfortable. We have friends that love eating stuff out of can. They eat like little Vienna sausages and baked beans, and they're real happy with that kind, and pasta and rice and lentils. Yeah. And then there's other people that like to eat meat. Meat is more expensive, so it's going to cost you more money.
Yeah.
Some people like to live in marinas, and they don't want to be at anchor. Yeah. That's going to cost you more money. So I suppose best thing you can do is visit the area that you're thinking of and go shopping, see what it costs you.
Yeah.
Or look on the internet, go to a supermarket's website, because food is probably one of the biggest costs you're going to have.
Yes.
Aside from regular maintenance.
Yes, most definitely. And we're in St. Martin, and the food here is probably half the price it is in Grenada. So we're lucky and fortunate that we've got a big freezer, so we filled it out with meat. So we got some good meat for the next couple of months. Yeah,
and when we go shopping, we'll buy bulk. So we bought like we'll buy huge, tenderloins or whatever, and we'll cut them up.
Yeah.
And then we'll buy like 10 pounds of ground beef, and then we'll repackage it into smaller baggies. And cheese. Cheese is very expensive.
Yeah.
So I bought a big, huge bag of cheese, and I break it down. And so whenever we see food that's less expensive, we buy a lot of it and freeze it. So a big freezer is a very handy thing to have on a boat.
Yeah, so that question I don't think we can really answer because it all depends on
and what you think is comfortable.
And what you think is comfortable.
And it also depends on the state of the boat you have. If you have a boat that's constantly breaking down, then it's going to cost you more money. Yeah. And also it depends on how well you are at servicing things, because the more you service your boat and fix things, that is going to save you a ton of money. Okay. Well, we're only halfway through all the questions that we've... we've got a lot more questions. Thanks for sending them in. If you want to send in your questions, send them to kim@sailingbritican.com, and we'll add them to the list, and we're going to do these Q&A sessions every so often.
Yep.
Sorry we don't have the comments on YouTube, but hopefully maybe we can correspond this way. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you like the content, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And if you would like more information about becoming a live-aboard sailing cruiser, please visit sailingbritican.com. We have over 400 articles, we have guides, we have a membership club, and if you want to try the lifestyle before you buy, come out with us for a week. We now do week-long charters where we teach you sailing, show you what it's like to live on a boat. Yep. If you have a family, bring your family. We've got our 9-year-old daughter, and the 3 of us are happy to share our home with you. Yep. and show you what it's like. It's a great lifestyle. Yeah, and any questions, we'll try and answer them for you. Yeah. Bye. Bye. And make sure to get a copy of my new book, The Sailboat Buying Guide for Cruisers. It's on Amazon now.